My next guest is a U of G graduate, a short filmmaker, and she was recently featured on the CBC. Joining me now is Amy Quick to tell me about her short film, Movin On Up. Amy, thanks for joining me. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience? What led you to making this movie?
Okay, so this short film came about as a result of many conversations between myself and my husband, Brian, who is the writer that wrote our short. We often talk about, our frustrations with the current housing market and how, living in the GTA and Canada, I think even more broadly, has just become really, really tough and really unaffordable. Whether you're trying to buy a house or just trying to find somewhere to live, to rent, that's anywhere close to affordable. It's becoming increasingly tough out there. And we like to deal with, tough stuff by using humor. So we thought we'd put this short together kind of as a means of catharsis, just kind of holding the housing market under a magnifying glass while also adding a bit of humor and hoping to kind of add some levity to a bit of a heavy topic.
And you were the director on this film. I know you have a background from U of G in theater.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you make that transition from theater in front of the camera or on stage to behind the scenes?
So, yeah, we could talk a little bit about my experience at the University of Guelph, where I actually had some directing classes, which was really awesome. What I loved about that program was that it was very holistic. So I did get to act a lot, which is where my heart was mainly at the time. But I also got to try writing, designing, directing, basically everything. And I developed a taste for all of it. I just really enjoyed every different aspect of theater. And then it wasn't until I graduated and I started to work for a film production company where I started to see film directors kind of coming in and out of the door. And I used to kind of look at them and think, I want that job. But I didn't know how to get there. I ended up going into the marketing world. And then I went back to school for a broadcasting certificate program. And it was there that I started to really I really started to develop a taste for storytelling, visual storytelling. When I got the camera in my hand and I was able to start piecing things together, I realized, okay, I really do like being behind the camera. It's a lot of fun. I think it plays into a lot of skills that I have, and I find it really, really satisfying just to create a narrative that's visual and something that brings something to life. So I kind of tried my hand at broadcast journalism a little bit. Very tough industry to break into, and I kind of ended up swerving back into the marketing world. And I started to prioritize looking for jobs that would allow me to direct while working in house somewhere. That's when I really started to get my hands dirty and I started to work with crews of different sizes, sometimes very small, sometimes very large. And I started to, I learned how to put my shot list together, storyboards together. I literally learned how to call the shots on set and how to work with crews and essentially get what I wanted in terms of what my vision was and how to tell the story. So yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it in terms of how I ended up in the world of directing. And then when it came to filmmaking, as I said, my first foray into just my career post Guelph was in a filmmaking company. And then it wasn't until more so just recently that I said, I want to get back into it. I want to start, telling narrative stories with, broader characters, longer formats, and things like that.
In terms of making this film, what was the experience like? I think you said you made it in one day, just all the shooting.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we shot everything top to bottom in one day.
Uh, I watched the film. I really enjoyed it. Is there anything I know I direct and I shoot myself for Guelph Life and I do Guelph Storm Hockey here on Rogers TV. Is there anything that you did in the film where you're like, I really like this shot, or like I always know like I walk away from like I really like what I did here. Is there anything specifically you're like I was really proud of this? Because I have things in the film that I really want to talk to you about.
Okay, yeah. I think I really love the shot. I think that sticks out in my mind of my two main characters sort of leaning over their neighbor. Not to create a spoiler, but they're discovering that she's no longer with us, that she has passed, and you kind of see the world, the wheels turning, where they're starting to realize like, what should we do about this? And you kind of see a bit of a shift in them where they, go from kind of completely innocent to there's a moral question that kind of pops up that they probably don't make the right choice on. You still kind of root for them though, because they're our main characters and you can relate to them. So I feel like that moment in the film is a bit of a favorite for me. Um, Other favorites would be, we had a lot of improv in our piece, which, the shots were planned and a lot of the structure was planned and written, but we had really strong improvisers. All three actors were fantastic performers and improvisers. So we really wanted to allow them to stretch their skills out and to show off their skills as improvisers. So the scene where they're carrying the neighbor with the body bag, there was some really strong, really funny moments in that composition. And then at the end as well, with our main character and her friend in the backyard, as they're kind of bantering back and forth, a lot of that was improv as well. And there were just some killer lines in there that were unplanned that just came out and were just so fantastic. And I feel like that scene really pulls things together. I think my answer just now was basically everything.
I really enjoyed a shot where the male character kicks the welcome mat from his house to the other one. I really like the movement of how the camera moved with the mat. And there's a shot at the end between the two women in the backyard where the focus goes, one person's in focus and one's blurred, and then it kind of switches back and forth. I thought those looked really great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So that one take with the scene where Adam, our main actor, kicks the mat under the door was actually his idea. So I have to give him the credit for that. And our DP pulled it off. His name is Kevin Wong. He's fantastic. We initially had planned for him. He did this really funny thing when we had one basically Zoom call rehearsal. That's it. We didn't really get to rehearse in real life. Where he did this funny thing where he slid the mat underneath I guess you could call it like a gate or a railing in between the two houses. And I just saw him do that. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. Because I had planned something different where we cut back to like the wider shot of the two houses and he slides it or throws it across or something like that. And I saw him do that. I was like, oh, that's great. I want to, I'm going to re-storyboard that. And then on the day, he was just like, I have an idea. I was like, okay, what? And he's like, I think I can do this all in one take. I think I can jump over. I didn't want to suggest to him like jump just in case, I don't know. I don't want anybody to get hurt or have an accident or anything like that. So he's like, what if I just jump over? I'll just kick it and I'll just jump over and then just, grab the mail and da. And I was like, oh my God, fantastic. That's amazing. So that was a very collaborative, one take, which gotta give it to Adam for coming up with that idea.
And just two more questions. So it was on CBC's short film Face Off. What was that experience like?
It was really exciting. I think filmmakers in general, we get used to hearing a lot of no's. We get a lot of, not right now, or sorry, this doesn't fit this for this reason, etc. So when I got the email saying that we'd been selected, I was, surprised just because you're just so used to hearing no's, and I was super excited. And then when the show started to actually happen and, they staggered the different shorts throughout a series of weekends, a series of episodes, it was just so much fun to, see people that we knew watching it as well and sending us pictures of them at home watching our short on TV on a Saturday night and saying, oh my God, it was so great. And having that support from people. It was really special. It was really exciting. And, I never thought that I'd be part of a competition series. And yeah, it was just so much fun. It was really a lot of fun.
Awesome. And last question, how can we learn more about your work and specifically with Movin On Up?
Well, Moving On Up lives on the CBC Gem app, and on the site. So if you check out the short film Face Off season 16, you'll find us there. So you can watch it from top to bottom. And you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is QuickiePics, QuickiePics. And yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me and stay tuned to what I'm up to and what's going on.
All right, so check out Moving On Up on the CBC Gem app and check Amy out on Instagram at QuickiePics. And Amy, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan.